We are live. We are live, Joanna. We are live. I'm feeling very alive today.
You
I'm
are.
so excited.
You're just on fire. Well, we have such a great guest. Hello, everybody. I see Denise is here, and Denise, you rocked it out of the park today. She got certified. Oh, I'm not supposed to
Yay,
announce
Denise
it yet.
Flood. Lucky world. Lucky world.
Lucky
You know what?
world.
Do you notice how shiny my face is?
I do notice.
I went and had a pumpkin peel from Lucille.
Oh,
Yes,
my
she
goodness.
still isn't incorporating the Food Healing Oracle deck, and she went pumpkin in moderation. She said, "You got to stay out of the sun." Moderation. She gave me a pumpkin peel. Hi, Karen. Anyway, so I'm staying out of the sun and letting whatever she did do its thing on my face. So I'm all
Yeah,
natural on this Labor Day. So
that's right. You are glowing. Hi, Karen. You are
I think
absolutely glowing, and you don't
I'm
need any
glowing
makeup.
from Denise's reading for us. That was really
Yeah.
exciting. So
Oh, that
yeah,
was so good.
we're having a good day. And then everyone was going to meet Oxana in a few minutes. We'll get to her. This is going to be a really amazing show. Whether you're listening to it live or you'll listen to it later. Really, really powerful stuff. We'll get to that in a moment after we just do a few announcements. By the way, your hair is looking good, Joanna.
Thank
Again,
you
I have
so
to
much.
tell you. Yeah, yeah. All right, so what is happening this Saturday? Oh my goodness,
My
this
God.
Saturday.
Are they talking to you like they're talking to me? Because they're very noisy, these ascended masters and archangels that we're going to be doing. You know,
Well,
I'm diving deep into their energy, and I'm telling
yeah,
you, it's just fascinating. And I'm learning some things. I thought that I knew a lot, but they're teaching me even more. And the more I dive deep, I'm like, well, why haven't I been asking these particular beautiful masters, angelic beings, for help in certain areas of my life, right? I've
yeah,
always asked the angels, I've always invoked them when I do healing work. And, you know, I feel like that I'm in the flow, but no, this is beyond the beyond.
yeah,
Doing this class is really, and I think that's what is the people are going to receive that come to this class, is how these entities want to be utilized, how they want
yeah.
to be called on. They're here to help us ascend. They're here to do so many things for us, especially this time on earth. So it
No
is going to
question.
be an amazing class.
Yes, it's one of my favorite topics. There's no question. And for those who've ever felt alone, it's such an acknowledgement that they're all around us, and how they now have indicated, um, ways to support us through nutritional eating is even better. So
Yes.
we'll leave it at that. But it's this Saturday online, 11 to 1. And if you are been watching or you follow any of our posts, we are having a Labor Day sale, which ends tonight at midnight. 10% off any of our classes. That our Tarot one, which is our Major Arcana kind of mashup with the Food Healing Oracle deck in October. We have a couple certification spots left because one person had to move over to January. So we have that. You can even get 10% off that on top of everything else. So we have all that. So the Labor Day sale, 10% off of any classes, including this Saturday. And just put in the code LABOR10 and you get 10% off, but it's only on all of our classes. We'll have other sales and things like that on our products. And I don't know if you saw, Joanna, but I did a blast about a little kiddos kit. And people need to just go online, or they can share it. They just need to put their name and our date in our newsletter. If they already that, great. Just put a little comment on why you should win it. It's like $75. It's our mini deck. It's the CD, Gulf Coast Meditations, Children, Tweens, and Teens. What else is in there? One of our food healing magnets, and then 25% off any of the children's classes. Yeah, it's a whole kit. It's like we're $75.
I saw
And
it.
we'll even
Isn't there a
ship it to you.
plushie in there too?
There's a plushie in there. I'm looking at it right now.
So.
I still don't know if it's a radish or a beet, but someone else can figure that out. And someone's going to win that over the next couple of weeks. We'll announce the winner here on the 21st.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see who wins that, because it
Yeah.
is such a great thing to give to kids and to encourage them, because that's what we all want to do. We want to encourage our kids to eat healthy, to try different kinds of foods, the colors of the rainbow, and to teach them that. So I think that was a genius idea that you're offering them. And I think that everybody should sign up. If you have grandchildren, sign your grandchildren up.
Yeah. Yeah. I think those classes are going to be amazing. And it's actually, you know, I just was having this realization that here we are talking about ancestry and our heritage. And, you know, we're going to get into all that with Oxana. But here we are creating traditions for these young children as they grow up, that they will remember right now what is being taught to them as children. Like, we are creating their ancestry for their future generation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, right?
For
That's what I was
sure.
thinking. All right. Well, we have Oxana here. So do we have any other announcements? Because I'm excited
Well,
to have her share her wisdom.
I just wanted to touch on, I know next week you have a special guest coming on, and I am so excited for that Pampered Chef party. Can I tell you how excited?
Oh, yeah.
Because I already looked at that catalog and I can see scratching, you know, checking some things off my Christmas list and things on my own personal list that I've been wanting.
Oh, yeah.
And it is, and Kevin is such a hoot. I cannot wait. I'm like waiting and chomping at the bit. And then yesterday he came on and made almond butter that looks so yummy. Oh my goodness.
Well, I love how he did almond butter and he did coconut oil. And it was I said, oh, you got a power play going on, you know, like totally using the Food Healing Oracle deck.
Yeah.
So here's what's happening. Joanna is not going to be with us next week. She actually is taking some time off, and that's perfect. And who is going to be my co-host for the night is Kevin Michaels. Okay. So who is Kevin Michaels? He is our very first. I love how he says this. Very first in the universe to be certified with the Food Healing Oracle deck. Kevin is going to be my co-host next Monday, and we are going to be getting pampered with Lainie and Kevin. So have some fun with us next Monday. And then
I'll be watching
Friday.
I don't know if I can watch in real time, but I'll be watching the replay. No, I'm going to try to watch in real time. It just depends, because I'm celebrating my son's 43rd birthday next week. I know. So
all right, well, you're not there live. Just watch it, but you'll love it. And then we're just going to be getting all pampered and revved up for Friday. Anybody can come to this Pampered Chef party. It's open. You can go online, FHOD, the Food Healing Oracle deck meets Pampered Chef. There's a Facebook event somewhere. Anybody can come, share it with your friends. We're going to be all on a private Zoom, and we're all going to be chit-chatting, sharing, show and telling, laughing our butts off, and enjoying all the great demos and things. So that's next. So that's Friday the 18th. So I think that's all of our upcoming everythings. There's a lot going on.
Always.
Yeah.
The Food Healing Oracle deck kitchen is always cooking up something.
No question. Well, let's cook up some mastery with our guest today. Let me just say to those of you, I want to give her all the introductions she deserves. So by the way, I'm on my tablet for the first time, and I'm like, where is even the camera? So am I looking straight at you?
You're looking straight at me right now.
Okay, which is weird, because at the periphery, you're like over there, and I want to be looking at you. So I'll get this down. But in any case, I had the honor a couple years ago of meeting this goddess in Isla Mujeres, the absolute scene of where we're going to be next June with her and Joanna and all of you, hopefully. And she's a heart of gold, a wealth of information. She's an author. She's a speaker. She's a coach, a life purpose coach. She does so many amazing things. She's full of life. She's full of, in our our deck, we would say she's full of ginseng, right? Life force. I can't wait for you to learn. I've learned so much from her. She is my sister from lifetimes and lifetimes. Oxana Dats is here. Everybody give her a big welcome.
Yay!
Yay, Oxana. I could have gone on and on, but
Oh, my
thank
beautiful
you.
goddess. Welcome. Thank you. It's an honor to be
Yeah,
with you girls.
Mm,
yeah.
it's
So
an
I,
honor to have you here.
yes, no question. And we're going to talk about Isla a little bit later. But I
Mhm.
want people to know who you are. Tamara's here. Yay. I want people, just introduce yourself, Oksana. Tell them a little bit about what you do. And then, I have some questions and we'll just kind of let it roll from there because the topic today is huge when people think about their eating habits and are things in our DNA? Are there's things that we're already pre-programmed, or that are we not pre-programmed? Do we have free will? Are we able to change what we've been told that we're inheriting? Those are all questions that come up a lot in our readings. I'm sure for when people are seeing you, but I know when I deal with clients, they want to know, is this theirs? Is it from other lifetimes? So there's a lot to talk about today of why we do what we do, the good, the bad, and sometimes the ugly. So let's just start with a little introduction and then we can get into some of these questions. And if you are all watching this and you have questions along the way, please take the opportunity to have Oxana Dats answer some of those, and we'll do our best to join in and have a really wonderful time. All right, Oxana, go ahead, beautiful woman.
Thank you so much. So my background, I'm in this country 25 years. Originally, I'm from Ukraine, and my background is in mathematics. So in this country, from 2002, I was in the banking industry doing loans and mortgages for people that bought homes. And for me, working with the clients and knowing them, I have many clients over the years, watching how financial side looks like, and then questioning. It's not just finances, is look at that, they've got all, you think, but then they're losing their health. So where is the balance?
Yeah.
And then my mom passed away from cancer back in 2006, and I remember seeing in New York City her doctor after surgery, asking what mom should eat, because my background in Europe, doctor tells what the person needs to eat. And this doctor told me that now she can eat whatever she wants. It's too late. So the question for me became, when is it not too late? So since that time, since 2006, I've been researching, reading, trying any kinds of, which took me to vegetarian, vegan, raw vegan, fructarian, and understanding how much food has influence on us, and pretty much anything we need to heal is in Mother Nature. That color totally integrates to what you girls are doing. So Mother Nature has everything for us to heal. So if we manage to really find it at the right time, we should be, it's all in balance and moderation and healing and allowing and all stuff. So I did a raw food nutritionist. That's how we met in Isla, doing all kinds of cute, good, tasty, different foods. And after I try, because I move on in life, I can't stay in one spot. So my next thing was, how come it's so easy for one person to go and do juices and do smoothies, and for other people, it's not that easy? Why is it? What is a deeper level that is holding them? So that's how I found, and I was introduced to Zydo technology, and I use software that reads the person's voice by speaking their name and where they live and how their hair color is and eyes and stuff. And I got to the transgenerational work, which is transgenerational perception reframing, which clears with frequencies the blocks on the subconscious level that we inherited from our ancestors. And that is the understanding that I see, and I work with the patterns, the family patterns that we have, that not necessarily are ours, because we are born to a consciousness of cloud of people that we are around, and we feel the feelings since the pregnancy of the mother. So often enough, if there is something we are feeling and we don't know where it's coming from, it's not necessarily is ours. It could be someone else's feelings that we feel. So that is my little introduction to like how I got to the work that I do. But I love your deck.
Thank you. Our deck loves you. It's so aligned what you do and the work that we're doing. And just at the end of your introduction, you were talking about emotion and choosing foods and that. And last week I gave the little example, and it was just probably a part of it, of what you were saying about someone who had some food issues, and you were able to trace back from their childhood having issues with family at the dinner table. But I think so often people can't find their way to what it is that's causing them to maybe overeat, or what's causing them to binge, or whatever the situation is. And you're going back. And in fact, you told me, just to separate that for 1 second, I remember you were telling me, okay, well, you know, my background's Russian. And so, you know, we're aligned in that regard. And you're telling me exactly what fruits to eat and what not fruits not to eat based on the lineage. Do you want to just touch on that maybe? Because that was really fascinating.
So this was something, you see, what I when I did what I did, and I'm very strict on myself, that I had to learn as well, because a lot of times when I was around a raw community, raw people that only ate raw food, there was a lot of restrictions, like, no, I don't need that. Not only restrictions, eventually where we all are going and where we want to be is true love to everything and everyone, because we are all connected in different way or form, and what I do affects you, what you do affects me, and that's not only, it's throughout the world, right? So essentially we want to be happy and loving from the heart, nothing else. So if we are, I'm only speaking with my own experience. So when I saw restrictions and saying, you can't do that. No, you, even if you want it inside, no, you, because you were told that you don't eat that, and you don't eat that, and you don't eat this because this is no good and this is no good. So to myself, what I did is I messed up hormonal system, which was back a few years ago. And at my age, at any age for a woman, when you are emotionally, hormones of the woman, all the 9 glands, they run the whole well-being of the woman. So when we feel that there is something not right, or there is something not right about me perceiving another person, no matter what this person eats or where this person is and what skin color or what they do, there is something wrong with us, because it's a mirror reflection. So when I saw that I've been eating, I also, you know, like we get these downloads. So I was figuring out, yeah, but I'm not from the islands. My background is not eating mangoes for months. I didn't grow up on bananas. For me, banana, the first time I saw was when I was in school, probably. I don't even know. I didn't had a baby banana from the 2-month-old, like I fed my kids, right? So this was a different. So when and how was this? How important it is for to understand our DNA, where the soul is coming from, and what is the food for the soul. Because when you eat that in balance, I feel like there is not only physical body, it's also something that is coming from where you lived prior times. And for some people, there are, you know, nations here that they can eat rice and beans only, and they're good with that, right? And they can think straight. Some others, they need that fat, and they need, you know, all the enzymes, and they need that sauerkraut if you eat with something. So there's so much, like, I'm throwing sauerkraut at you because it was a big popular thing in Russia every winter. So you gotta have enzymes, and you gotta have just not, it's part of limitation. So
and I think you said plums and things that were darker colors. You said something because of the Russian lineage or something like that.
Right. So plums and like stuff like blackberries, you know, cherries. But again, when did they have that? They had that, and apples, of course, and pears. That was all, you know, the summertime. You start June from strawberries, and you pretty much done by end of September, and then you've got apples and pears that are stored. That's it. And then you have lemons, and it doesn't grow there, you know. So it's then you change. So it's seasonal eating. It's more like, like more in seasons. So
So
that's,
are you a big believer in that, eating in season? Because many people, of course, farmers markets, it's really learning how to eat that way for the body is to follow nature's rhythm.
right. So I can tell you that for me, what works the best after I did a big work on healing emotional part where you don't feel, because often if I can step into a little bit to emotions you want, and then I'll come back and I'll tell you. So I'm going to, this way you can understand why I'm saying this. So let's say at the early childhood, when one is raised by grandparents, because parents work apparently, right? They could be busy at work, and the grandparent would do all the love and everything for the child. But then at the end of the day, a child is missing those parents, and child does not comprehend that it's any of achievers, anybody here on the audience, anyone that was raised not by loving both parents, that would relate to you all. Because we, as the children, think that parents have something more important to do, and we take this as we are not good enough, that they are doing other things more important than us. That leads to later on in the future to addictions, because we want to see there is not enough. We are searching for something outside of our own field that is not complete myself. That's deep emotional stuff. So by healing that and understanding it's not me, because I didn't come here they didn't come to make me happy. I didn't come to make them happy. We came to grow and learn and change and, evolve together as a family. So I am complete and the best me ever. And that is, so all that when it was healed. And also another thing is that conditional love, where we're going to love you if you look cute. Look at you. If you clean up your room, we love you. You love you for that. These constant messages, the childhood conditions. If you do this, we love you. If not, and also the fear. Fear has a big influence. Fear of being observed and judged by other people. That comes from the childhood as well. A lot of it saying what the people are going to say, what the teacher is going to say. Oh my gosh, look at you. What is this going to be? These constant messages that it's all stuck in our subconscious mind. Once we heal all that, then intuitive healing, intuitive eating is a very good thing to do. I love that part, because if you feel like you're having this, you have that. One day I wanted the chocolate, you have the chocolate. Then you have enough chocolate, you'll have green tea. And then you feel like you're having coffee, you're having coffee.
Lucia was here. The other day, farmer's market was across from the spa, and I asked her if she wanted me to pick anything up, and she says, yes, I do. And she laid out her cards, and she picked 3, and I got her Brussels sprouts, red bell peppers, and broccoli. Like, intuitive eating is really in this moment, real-time wisdom. She used the cards to really, and so broccoli was growth, red bell pepper was inspiration, Brussels sprouts was connection. And it was like really kind of growing in this connection of what we were doing that day. It's so authentically real when we're tapping into what soul's telling us right there that we want to have. That's why it makes what you're doing and what we're doing, it just works so great together. And I know I want to talk about Isla, but we'll get to that. Joanna, any questions for Oxana?
Well, I love what she's saying about intuitive eating, because I think that in our culture we've gotten so many mixed messages about what we should be eating, what we shouldn't be eating, and this is bad and that is bad. And there's something called food confusion, food cilantro. We get very confused. I get very confused sometimes when, okay, so is carbs bad? Is eggplant or the nightshades bad for you? I can't eat red peppers. I can't eat eggplant because they said it hurts the thyroid. Well, I grew up with tomatoes, red bell peppers, eggplant. My family's Italian, the zucchini, the crucifixus vegetables. It's like my mother and father always had a garden. So we had fresh vegetables from the garden. And now it's like, there's sometimes I get confused. It's like, well, I really feel like having some eggplant, but I wonder if that's going to hurt me. Now, eggplant's one of my favorite vegetables, probably. So I give in and have it. But those thoughts that accompany that food confusion sometimes, really, I think stops me from total enjoyment. And I know from talking to other people that they feel the exact same way. What should I eat? I don't know what to eat.
Yeah.
You should pull from the deck, Joanna.
Well, well, now I pull from the deck, but before that, so I really like what you said about intuitive eating and really asking your body the question.
Totally.
What is it that
You ask the body
needs?
and you listen to your inner wisdom, and you never ignore the gut's feelings. Because if you need that eggplant, you need it, because maybe when I do my transgenerational work with the client, I tell them, I had a girl in my office last week, and I asked her, what was the first memory? She was working on her father, and I said, what was the first, she couldn't release it. And I asked her a question after so many recordings, what is the first memory of you and your father? And she said to me, I remember being in the car, eating crispy crisp donut, and he stopped on the brakes, and I flew down to the front with the box of donuts, and it was all over the car, and he was furious, like he yelled and he got scared, and so that fear. So the 4-year-old girl, this is her first memory of the father, which is a masculine side by her, because in my work, the father and both grandfathers set energetic footprint for your spouse to step in. So you've got, you're radiating fear by the feminine side. So what does it do to the psyche of the girl that is not, that part is not, so when she was done, she said, oh my gosh, I feel like those crispy donuts became back. And I said, you should go get one. And it was so funny how she's like, I'm just going to go get one, because it's same thing to your eggplant. It's your childhood comforting food, but you only need it to heal that part. When you heal that part and you need it, even if you go cheat on something, it's only to heal that emotional part, and then you feel like you're good. You don't need it anymore. You can't be eating the same thing over and over and over again. Because on the other side, people that when I do a scan for someone, I had a client, raw chef in my office, her biggest stressor was GMO food. And she doesn't eat GMO food, but know what she does? She talks about it all the time, how bad it is for you.
Oh,
so it stresses you more than when you eat something and you just say, oh, Joanne, I'm having my eggplant parmesan because it was a family dinner. And I'm feeling that part with the family connection. And then you're like, I'm good for another year. I'm not going to have this again. And then you go purify yourself. Right. So it's just like having that moderation and balance.
So it's not only intuitive eating, it's intentional eating as well.
Right. It was, yeah, it could be with intention. If you're doing so, you do with intention of do what. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to call it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I held up the chocolate card on purpose, the indulgence card, and we write about it in the book that we're wanting people to give themselves that permission to eat the cake, to take care of themselves. If they're feeling they want the Krispy Kreme donuts, like, because it is so nurturing to give of yourself and kind of dispel the stigma sometimes that you either were programmed to believe, or you had an experience, or something has triggered that you are wrong. And it's about making you feel like in alignment, and not that you're eating that every day, but indulge a little, because that vibration can be so healing for everything else that comes into your life. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because that's what eventually you just, like for you, because I know you so much, your higher self is like, for you, it's so easy to bring it in. For people that are not you, it's harder for them to connect and heal that inner child and connect to the higher self. Mm-hmm. So you've got to have that inner child eating ice cream once in a while. What if the inner child is responsible for the money part? You block you can't be blocking. It's got to be out loud for all that connection. That's beautiful. Yeah. So another thing is with sadness, if there was any sadness that extremely affects the lifestyle in my work, sadness from the childhood, anything being so sad. And that example of the chef that I was using that you mentioned last week, it was because mother always cooked, and you gotta be very careful who you eat your. That's why I'm so much for like having meal home prepared. And my background, we don't eat out. When I was a kid and growing up, I think the first time and one time I was at the restaurant at my mother's 40th birthday party, it was always home prepared meal. I'm not saying eat anything you want, but if you do eat anything outside of your belief system that you want inside, you eat the best food, the best organic, clean, non-GMO, of course, I'm talking quality food. But that is this. So going back to sadness, it's how important when the mother cooks for the father that is an alcoholic, and then every meal prepared with sadness, because she knows exactly how she's going to feel when he comes home, and then children have to eat what mother cooked, and that sadness transitions in the food. So you preparing food only with love. If you don't feel good, or if you have any kind of, you go walk it out, you go swim it off, you get on the bike, you do any other things, but you don't cook, because then it's water, it's pure water that is feeling all the, like do the balls, flame, or like anything just to clean it up. Don't cook.
I think you both know that many of you know I work for a very famous celebrity chef, and our clients were Michael Jackson and Barbara Streisand, and all these famous people, the most famous people in Hollywood. And we always had a rule: if there was any sort of discussion that was even feeling like an energetic difference from love and peace and joy, had to be taken out of the kitchen. No one ever argued over the food or a stirring hot pot. Everything was always infused with that love. So our clients felt that. And, I've always maintained that. I know we always talk, a lot of us pray over our food. We wait till the vibration is raised to a certain amount. All of these things are extremely important. And if we didn't learn it as a child or as early age, I learned it pretty early. We're imparting all those lessons now, I think, with all the work that all of us are doing.
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely. I think more and more of that is important to bring up to the world too. I think that is part of our generational healing that we have to really be mindful of. That healing of the self, loving the self, and all of that. I know sometimes it is difficult for people to be present, when they're eating, or present when they're preparing food. But I think that it's really important to remind
each time when I do a food, I just sometimes have a food session where I have people record the food they ate. And often food is also associated with the house, like the house you live in. Like if you remember one grandmother's house or other grandmother's house and your mother's house, there's like different food attached to the house. So there are different, right? There are different, scent, of course. And so they remember with that, it was that, and with this house, it was this. And there is different karmic connection that come out with the woman who prepared. So it's saying, imagine like you don't know. That's why very important part of healing that we were talking in the introduction with the mother and father, because the mother these days, that's how so many people, especially this year, have a difficulties with coping with everything that is going on. Because deep inside, it's our mother that introduces us to this world, and it's healing work to love and accept your mother. And then through the mother, we go then to Mother Earth, which then brings and has all the gifts for us. So for us to learn and heal relationships with our own mother gives us ability to cope with any life changes, with anything you have to do. You have to go get a different job, you have to move, you have to get married, get divorced, or you're having a child. That all is mother. As a matter of fact, a lot that I see in young girls that don't want to have children these days, it was their mother's feelings, how overwhelmed she was having a child because she was not prepared to have children. And it was hard for mom to deal with having a child, and child subconsciously blocks that feeling and never wants to feel that overwhelmed as mother is. So after releasing that, then it opens up this abundance to receiving. That is, another one of the cards when you receive. It's just the closed heart for to be able to receive that. That emotional pain is locked up a lot, so that helps as well. So anything to do with receiving, and anything to do with father, it's the authority. It's anything that you report to. Many people have problems with their bosses anywhere they work. They can't work for anyone else. If you hear someone telling you, I can't work for anyone, I'm my own boss, that's the first indication. Not like you have to work for anyone, it's the best to work for yourself. But when people do it because they have to, it's unresolved father's issue. So healing the mom and the dad will complete this emotional healing.
Interesting. Oksana, with the time that we have left, because we're already like over half of the show. First off, I want to. Karen said my grandmother always made her cheesecake for the holidays. So every holiday I make her cheesecake. I love that. What I wanted to do is first off, see if anybody had any questions about anything that we're talking about today: DNA, heritage, inheriting behaviors, emotional patterns, anything like that. Just put your comments in the box there, and we'll keep an eye on that. And then we are going to do readings for people who are here today, which is, I think, really exciting because we are going to be giving you messages that you are going to be, that we're going to be channeling forward. Actually, the three of us will be doing it together on your heritage or your DNA or something that you need to hear from your ancestry. So we're going to be doing that in just a few minutes. But I just wanted to touch about Isla. It's not the whole we'll be doing full shows on Isla. But what I wanted to share is that the three of us here and some of you who I see who are on here tonight, we are gathering for the first one, the Ultimate Food Healing Oracle Deck Retreat next June, 2nd through 6th, where we first met in Isla Mujeres. And if you don't know where Isla Mujeres is, if you're in Florida, it's a quick flight to Cancun, and then from Cancun, it's just a little drive over to a ferry, and then you're on this beautiful, gorgeous island of paradise. And we obviously got thwarted this year because of COVID. So we moved it to next year and feel really excited that we're all going to gather in beautiful harmony on the beach for a week of readings, of healings, of smoothies, of food, of pampering and nourishment, and an extraordinary time of people who are fans of the food healing deck from all over the world. But Oksana is a major component of this because she talked about being a raw food chef, but she understands nourishment. She understands the local flavor and bringing all those elements together in a week where we can be infusing all of our bodies and souls with the food healing oracle deck. So we'll be announcing soon all the classes that you'll be able to have, but anything you wanted to say about this amazing experience we're all about. So we're leading up into embarking because I think there's only 20 spots or something. It's a very intimate gathering and an intimate resort on the beach. Oksana, what do you want to say? Yeah.
I believe that every person, they must be on Isla one time. What happened to me, I went there once and I ended up that year 4 more times. So,
yeah.
And it was beyond comprehension. Some people said to me, when you travel, you're supposed to go different places. And I said, that was the intention. Why would you travel? And why, where? So the Isla, the energy, the vibes of that island, it's a goddess shell that gave life to many goddesses. Mayan goddess, and the energy of that island is something beyond explanation. You just want to be there. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's the island where you thank the wind because you're being purified by the wind, and that's the island where you thank the water to get in the Caribbean water, and that's the island where the fruits and everything is Mexican right from the tree, so it's authentic. It's right there, and it's the island where you in the ocean. It's 5 kilometers long, but you right between Caribbean Sea, you in the water. So it's absolutely
All
beautiful.
the elements.
All the elements, yes. And then you do some fire at night to burn some stuff off, and you'll be good.
We're going to have meditations. We're going to have food nourishment. We're going to have chocolate. We're going to have friendship. We're going to be doing readings like crazy. We're going to, God, Lucille's going to be there. Last weekend, she put food all over Tony's face, and we all got to understand how food nourishes our outside. She's going to be doing another level of that organic beauty, doing food presentations on people's skin. I mean, it is one, I mean, you're just going to walk away asparagus, right? Completely
Yeah.
transformed, a week of all of us together, nurturing you, nurturing all of us, and
We
the
have
food healing
some
oracle deck.
terrific classes planned, and they are, you know, each one is like gets better and better and better and better. And so we are really excited about what we're going to be experiencing there.
Totally.
Yep.
It's beautiful. I can't wait. I've got my hotel and room booked. I'm all good.
There you go. There you go.
So we will be announcing a lot more. You'll be seeing, oh, Tamara, can't wait to go. Yeah. Oh my God. All of you, please. It's going to be amazing. And it's limited and we want to be in this cocoon with outdoor kitchens. And, you know, some of you who took our certification courses, by the way, certification, there's 2 spots left in October 9th and 10th. That's in 4 weeks. If you want one of these spots, we highly recommend it. But in there, we give the students 5 of our smoothies from our upcoming book. So we'll have our book done by next June. So we'll be taking all those smoothies, whatever relates to being authentic from the island. And that's how we're going to nourish everybody in addition to everything else. You know, the mercados, the little stands. We're going to go on food culinary tours of the local favorites. It's just, it is really a deep dive into EMPS wellness, right? Emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual with the classes. You're going to be teaching more about emotional and transgenerational eating. It's just going to be, it's going to be an experience. There's no question. It's our first one. And people say, are you going to go all over the world? And I'm like, maybe, but you know what? Like you, Oksana, that island is something magical. Might want to go there every year, but let's get the first one going.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So here we have Tony. I can't wait to go. Denise Flood says, thinking how our youth have all foods available. When I grew up, everything was seasonal. Yeah.
Yeah, it has changed.
It has changed. Well, and you know, we're really fortunate here in Florida to have a lot of local produce. You know, I'm thinking about the mango I just picked from the tree today and, you know, cut it up for my daughter, Heather, as a snack instead of her going to get something out of the cupboard. And I'm thinking, here, have something off the tree and let her have those memories of how fresh food is that she can just, you know, experience fresh off a tree. I mean, I didn't have that growing up. Well, I had plums growing up. I had a plum tree, but this is, you know, something different.
Yeah.
So what do you, okay, one more before we get into readings. Joanne wants to say, I realize now that I grew up with a family that did a lot of emotional eating, not necessarily healthy. I seem to be doing that as we go through these trying times. You want to respond to that? Any thoughts on that, Oksana or Joanna?
Well, it is. Go ahead, Joanna.
No, you go ahead. I'm fascinated by you.
Yeah, it is. A lot of it is. I'm glad you speaking the truth. It is. If every family in some kind of form or different form or different time in different ways, there was a lot going on. Either it could have been that affected the child, and you never know what exactly affected the child. and then you don't know what was done when people felt that way to the child's psyche. And there was a lot of, it depends on, you know, the birth chart of the child, but it has a lot sometimes when the child is so sensitive that becomes a sponge. You could be like all these kids with twos, anybody having twos in their date of birth as a woman adds them another two, which is sensitivity and intuition. So a lot of the kids now born with 2 twos, 3 twos, 4 twos, they're extremely sensitive. So they become as a psyche sponges for those around them. And they are to the point where they can literally, if someone's shoulder hurts, the child's shoulder can hurt as well. That's how open they are. So at that time, you don't know how it affected you. And it affected you, especially if there was any abuse at any time or form, verbal or physical abuse for the child. It is also has a big effect. And now that I'm learning the chart with 9s, 8s, and 7 in it, those children, if you have 9, 8, and 7 in date of birth at last century, which was common, children have to have a beautiful home and loving. And when they don't have that, it affects their later on. It's deep hurt from the inside. So those with a lot of eights, the ruling eights in numerology, a lot of them are affected as well by, you know, what family does to them. So anything and everything always is just, some people are not paying attention to this yet, or some other people, you know, it's hard for them to express how they feel. That is also important, to have that expression. And it's hard. They have closed heart because it's hard for them to express, especially to the people they love. So that leads to looking for anything outside of themselves, which they want to look, and then they get to something that is not necessarily healthy, of course, because, you know, at the healthy food, like even now in this country, I remember me going each time when you're on the raw food, each time you go to the store, it's $200, 150,
Yeah.
200, and then 2 days later you have no food because it's all fresh. It takes a lot. So it's not easy to, you know, the way that everything is, it's not that cheap or easy. So you have a lot of components to all that is for our self and nourishment. So healing emotional foundation is very important, and reaching out for intuitive and seasonal, absolutely. So you do have, like you say, we were talking with Joanna, and she said she's Italian, and they say this is no good or that is no good. But you know, many now with I'm hearing even like gluten-free, right? This whole thing with being gluten-free, but the gluten-free is not the gluten itself. This was how the gluten is stored, which leads to a lot of mold in them. So once you clean up the mold from the body, you'll digest the gluten, you'll be perfectly fine. You grow up on it, and it gives you grounding as well. So if you feel, a lot of times people that constantly are in the dreaming space where they dream, they daydream, they create all that, they're not grounded, not practical. So to get you down to that point, you need that grounding as well. You can't be just up there because you've never had anything accomplished. So it's all in balance and moderation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So here's what I'd like to do. It just makes sense for the remaining 12 minutes we have. Instead of doing readings, I liked what we did prior to on the show. I have 16, but we had selected, or actually Oxana had selected, certain cards from our deck that really relate. And since a lot of you have our decks, and if you don't have our decks, foodhealingdeck.com, or go to our app. Okay, so we want you to have our deck. But I thought what you can do in this remaining time, since it is sort of like a reading, but why don't you go ahead, Oksana, and pull some of those ones that were significant into history and DNA and ancestry, Joanna? Isn't that's probably easier, and we can all talk about them because there's not time to do reading. But you did pull some significant cards, and I want people to go ahead and work with their own decks on some of these specific cards because they are cues into your history. Okay. So maybe talk about some of the cards and why you pulled these. Why is garlic important? And, you know, some of these. And
Mhm.
then I'm sure people are going to understand what we're doing.
Okay. So I first have the feelings, right? Ginger. So the feelings, it's probably the closest is connection to expression, because you deep inside, you know how you feel. It's all about how you feel and how each food or person makes you feel. So when you have these feelings inside, you have to acknowledge your own feeling, but you also, the hardest part is to express your feelings to others. And especially if anyone has children born in this century, and that has no number one in their birthday, these children, is their hardest thing is to express their own feelings. So it's important to ask them, how do you feel about it? So you could teach them to express it so they can express themselves. Okay, that's the feeling part. Abundance with apples. So anything to do with apples, why apple pie, why family gathered together had that apple pie, why apple are stored for the winter, like if you have them in, even in Europe, when they had to pick them from the tree, July, August, my grandfather always had in the basement those little wooden baskets, and they were stored even between the paper between them, so they were there abundance. So what it is abundance, if you return yourself back home and you think about what was the abundance in my home, what resonates with you with this word of having abundance in your home. Okay, so is it like, what do they say about abundance? So you just bring that stuff from subconscious somewhere, you acknowledge it's all within, all the answers are inside, it's just a matter of getting there and finding those answers. And then teaches with positivity, to be positive, right? So it's these days, it relates very good now. Peaches, we are in season, so maybe a little bit, Georgian peaches all over. So you've got the peaches is positivity. So instead of searching for healing, you allowing wellness. So be positive, because we attract what we vibrate on. So that's how, have some peaches, be positive, right? And community, like this, the cherries, I love cherry, the same thing, family, community, bringing together, cherry pie or cherries, having these cherries. So what does community mean to you? If we are all one at the end of the day, the stuff we spoke before, it's important to understand what I do for myself affects those others in the community. So what is community work means to you? What was your first understanding of having community? Where a lot of the zone 6 that comes up in my work within community is, unfortunately, when we were children, and you especially have very strong parents, they in sales or administrative work or anything to do with other people, there was something like they would build a case that they are right and someone else is wrong. So that was the introduction to community, that in the community, what I do is I'm right, but this person does something that is wrong. It's called it's constant conditional love. So it's all but with conditions. If you do, yes, but if not, then no. And anything relating, and it actually in the real physical body, it affects our immune system a lot. Immune system, and which leads to also a lot of cancer with this zone. So you got to be careful with the community, because people are over stressed and over exhausted of giving. When you constantly give, you come first. You got to help yourself first before you help anyone else. So taking care of you is very important. Which,
Oksana, we have two more. So I'll do that one, and then you can either choose onions or pumpkin seeds after that.
okay.
And then
So balance is very good, right? I can do balance.
Yeah.
How important everything is in balance, and you each know exactly every area of your life and what it is for you to be in balance is very important. And you want me to do the alien? Okay, protection.
Onion. Oh, okay, garlic. That's fine. Do one more.
Yeah. So garlic, being protection, is very important, especially of those born in March, because of the aura. You have to purify and protect your aura a lot, because especially those that do hands-on work with other people, Their negative emotions affect you subconsciously without even knowing. So you could be worried a lot. So garlic, as far as protection, I know you're going to say, I'm going to eat garlic and then I'm not going to be close to them because they're going to smell garlic. But you might have garlic all over the room somewhere as well. Maybe this way will help.
I love garlic. All right, so two things. One is when make sure you give us your information and we put it in the comment. People want to do a session with you and learn about their history, their DNA, and all that information, because I'm sure people would like to know more about your work. I know we'll have you back on the show between now and next June, I'm sure a few times. And then if you want to spend some time with us and Oxana and her beautiful wisdom and her amazing food and everything that we've got going on, keep an eye out for what we're going to be doing at Isla Mujeres. It is our first annual retreat. It is live and it's next June, and it's plenty of time to plan. There's plenty of time to be safe, and there's plenty of time to be nourished in a way that you'll have never experienced before, just like the deck. So any last thoughts, Joanna or Oxana, before we complete? Joanna.
I just have to say that this was a fascinating conversation, and I know that we didn't even hardly touch the surface of the things that you know and do, and your wisdom and your healing of foods. I just am so, Lainie was right. I was going to be blown away by you. She was right. I am totally. You do a very, very important work. Our deck goes hand in hand with the work that you do. It's so fascinating. And I know that you can take it even in deeper levels. So this was just beautiful, Oxana. I loved it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Imagine when you say deeper level, have you planted garlic? How garlic goes into the soil in September, October in Europe. So then it has to sit in the soil over the winter. So then springtime, it starts to grow and gives you the green. And it's amazing how deep garlic goes. It's a beautiful how to grow that protection, to be rooted, like how much wisdom there is to this deck. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Thank you for saying that. It continues to astound us that Mother Nature gave us A, B, and C, D, E, F, G, and we brought forward H through M, and now we're continuing to see N through Z, continuing to see the layers. We were just sharing with Denise earlier, this Angel Ascended Masters and Archangel class this weekend is another major level opener. And food is the star. We always say the starring role is the food, but it's from the heavens, it's from Mother Nature, and it's from the elements, and it is our chakras, and it is our history, and it is our future, and everything is just combining. And this tool is allowing people like you and all these other wonderful healers to use it and be part of it, and then share all your gifts. I mean, this is what it's about. This is the cherries to awaken humanity. So it's just an honor to have you here tonight and share. And next June, I can't wait. So thank you, my love.
Thank you, my beautiful. Yeah. Thank you so much. It was an honor. And I'll just post my cell phone number up there. The best thing to contact me is to text or call me. And I also have an email address or website, whatever you want. But call is my preferable because I want to hear their voice. I work with people's voice, and I want to know what's in them.
Give me the number. I'll put it in right now. What's your phone number?
Okay, it's 973.
973.
449.
449.
3398.
Okay, cool. Everybody, that's Oxana.
All right.
And say something really nice.
And thank you.
It was my honor. I can't wait to be invited again or see you all on the island. It's a beautiful island. You need to rest. It's part of the balance. Please make plans and get there, and we'll see you all, and you will all want to come back. It's a beautiful thing to go to. Okay.
Wow.
Well, they're going to want to come back because if you make that avocado blueberry tart that Lucille and I have, forget about it. The best.
That's right. That's very
All
good.
right. Good night, everybody.
Bye,
Thank
Good
you.
night.
you.
Bye bye.
Mwah.
Hold on. Don't go anywhere, Oksana.